Good evening and welcome. Tonight we're going to read the last chapter of the Animal Atlas. We're going to read about mammals. So let's just dive right in. Let's start off with some mammal facts. Mammal. Make sure that light's not up. Okay. Mammal facts. The first mammals evolved 220 million years ago when dinosaurs dominated the earth. Today, mammals have adapted to live almost everywhere and are spread all over the world, from grasslands and rainforests to icy poles and deep oceans. So what is a mammal? Mammals are vertebrates. Although they may look different, all mammals have an internal skeleton that is made of bone. They are warm-blooded. Mammals maintain a stable body temperature whether they are in a hot or cold environment. They have live young. Most mammals give birth to live young rather than hatching from eggs like birds. They drink milk. Young mammals feed on milk from their mother, which provides vital nutrients for their growth. And they have hair. Mammals have fur, spines, or scales to trap heat. Marine mammals have insulating blubber. So, mammal types. There are an estimated 6,550 types of mammals. Of those 6,160 are placental mammals. Placental mammals give birth to live young that are fully developed. 385 of those mammals are marsupials. Marsupials give birth to tiny young and usually develop in a pouch. And 5 of those mammals are monotremes. Monotremes lay eggs. After the baby hatches, it lives with in its mother's pouch for several weeks as it continues to develop. The tailless tenrec of Madagascar can have up to 32 babies in one litter. That's too many. Way too many. Let's look at some extreme habitats for some mammals. Some hardy mammals have adapted to survive in extremely hot, cold, or rather hot places. First we have musk oxen. Musk oxen use their hooves to dig through snow and find edible plants in temperatures below freezing. They live mainly in the tundra regions of Greenland and Arctic North America. Very cute. Kangaroo rats. Kangaroo rats have adapted to live in the extreme heat of the deserts in the western U.S. and Mexico. This rodent does not drink water, instead getting moisture from desert grass seeds. And goats. Good old goats. Goats can grip tiny crevices with their hooves, allowing them to ascend a vertical cliff safely. These rock-climbing goats are in Greece, but this mammal can be found all over the world. Indonesia is home to 291 mammal species, more than any other country. What else do we have? The biggest mammal. The blue whale, of course. Blue whales are the largest animal ever to have lived on Earth. They swim in all of the world's oceans except the Arctic. A blue whale can grow 108 feet, or 33 meters, the length of 17 adult divers. And the smallest mammal is the Kitti's hog-nosed bat. Very cute. The Kitti's hog-nosed bat lives in limestone caves near rivers in parts of Thailand and Myanmar. Its head body length is up to 1 3/8 of an inch, or 34 millimeters, twice as long as a bumblebee. I think there might be a page in here about bats. I think there is. So, bat warning, because I know some people are very distressed by bats. So, let me see. Let me look in here. Let me find the bat page. If there is a bat page. Pretty sure there is. Let me see. No spoilers. Get some page sounds for you too. Maybe there isn't. Maybe I'm just a... Oh, there is a bad page. Okay. It's coming up after the orangutan page, so I'll keep a note of that. There is a bad page. The fastest mammals. Whether on water, land, or in the air, these mammals are some of the fastest in the animal kingdom. In water, orcas can swim at 55 miles per hour, or 88 kilometers per hour. On land, cheetahs are at 70 miles per hour, or 113 kilometers per hour. And in the air, the Brazilian free-tailed bat can fly at 100 miles per hour, 160 kilometers per hour. It says the speedy bat is found in parts of North, Central, and South America. I personally think bats are amazing. They usually come out here in like the autumn at night, and it's so cool to watch. Anyway, the longest overland migration. The caribou migration is a return trip of more than 745 miles, or 1,200 kilometers. Caribou are native to North America and spend summer months in the north of the continent feeding on grasses. This is also where females give birth. When winter snow falls, they head south in search of grazing. Get all these caribou going. Let's see some smart mammals. Bottlenose dolphins in Shark Bay, Australia use protective marine sponges, an invertebrate, to disturb sandy seafloors filled with potential prey, such as spothead grubfish. It is thought that only females do this, and they pass on this useful fishing skill to their daughters. Dolphins are so intelligent. Oh my gosh. Long jumper. The white-handed gibbons of Southeast Asia can jump 40 feet or 12 meters from branch to branch. My goodness. And the deepest dive, let me just slide this over a smidge more so you can see. The Cuvier's beaked whales are found worldwide. The record-breaking dive of this mammal reached a depth equal to the height of 3.5 Burj Khalifa buildings. Let's see, the Burj Khalifa is 2,720 feet or 830 meters in Dubai, UAE, the world's tallest building. But down here, the Cuvier beaked whale can swim 9,816 feet or 2,992 meters. What you doing down there? What could be? I mean, I guess there's lots of interesting food down there, I suppose, but I don't know. Let's see what animals we're going to look at tonight. Starting off with the egg-laying mammals. The kids are so funny looking. So weird. Anyway, egg-laying mammals. I mean, platypuses are great, but I feel like echidnas are so underrated. Some mammals lay eggs instead of giving birth to live young. These are the monotremes, found only in Australia and the island of New Guinea. They include the duck-billed platypus and 4 species of spiny-coated echidnas. Let's see. I think they're so cute. Look at this little tongue. Toothless feeding. All monotremes lack teeth and instead have sensitive beaks for catching invertebrate prey. Echidnas dig through soil with sharp claws to expose prey and use their long, sticky tongue to trap them. The platypus uses its sensitive bill to find shellfish buried in the mud, then crushes them with horny plates inside its bill. Such weird animals. Leathery eggs. Look at that. All monotreme eggs are small and leathery. The platypus lays 2 grape-sized eggs at a time, while echidnas produce just 1. Upon hatching, the babies are then fed with milk, just like all other mammals. Let's look at this cute echidna. The eastern long-beaked echidna. Looks like a little alien. This is so funny. Spiny coat. An echidna's coat is made up of protective spines interspersed with fur. If threatened, the echidna can roll into a spiky ball. And over here we see a platypus. It has a beaver-like tail. All monotremes can swim, but the platypus is especially well adapted with a flat tail for maneuvering and webbed feet for paddling. So funny. Let's read. highly adaptable. Monotremes inhabit a wide variety of habitats, from Australia's arid deserts to the snow-covered mountains of Papua New Guinea. Short-beaked echidnas are the most adaptable and have the largest range, while the other monotremes are limited to smaller areas. Let's start up in Papua New Guinea. Here's the western long-beaked echidna. Long-beaked echidnas from hotter lowlands look spinier because they have less insulating fur than those that live in cooler highlands. And here's the Sir David's long-beaked echidna. This species lives in a tiny area of a mountain range in Indonesia. Only one specimen has ever been found in the wild. Of course, they named it after Sir David Attenborough, of course. The eastern long-beaked echidna, which is this cute guy over here. These thick-furred, long-beaked echidnas from central and eastern Papua New Guinea live in mountain forests and alpine grasslands. Let's move down to Australia. Forest dwellers. In the forests of Western Australia, short-beaked echidnas make their homes among rocks, in the spaces between tree roots and inside hollow logs. Short-beaked echidna. This adaptable monotreme is the only species that lives in the dry, arid interior of Australia, known as the outback. So funny looking. Here's the platypus. The platypus needs wetter habitats than those of short-beaked echidnas, so it is confined to the eastern forests, where there is open water to swim and feed. And down here in Tasmania, coping with cold. In Tasmania, one of the coldest parts of Australia, the platypus stays active even in winter, but the short-beaked echidna spends the winter in hibernation. I think that's all the facts on here, so let's read this big one. That male platypuses have venomous spurs on their hind limbs. They're the weirdest animals. So strange. We can stay in Australia so we can read about the koala. Found only in the eucalyptus forests of Australia, koalas belong to a group of mammals called marsupials. Unlike most other mammals, marsupials give birth to tiny young that do most of their growing outside of their mother's body, usually in a pouch. A little box down here about tough digestion. The leaves of eucalyptus are hard and fibrous, making them very difficult to digest. They quickly fill the stomach of a browsing koala, but provide little nutrition, meaning that when they are not eating or sleeping, koalas spend their time resting to conserve energy. Look at how precious. Facing forward. The koala is the only marsupial with forward-facing eyes. This makes it a better judge of distance, which is important for clambering through branches without falling. Look at that, baby. Let's read this. It says, following eucalyptus. Though koalas are found in a range of habitats, from subtropical forests to grasslands and savannas, their range is dependent on the presence of eucalyptus trees, the leaves of which make up the large majority of their diet. Much of their habitat has been lost due to logging, forest clearing, and bushfires, putting many koala populations at risk of extinction. Let's read about their territory up here. Keeping cool. In northeastern Australia, where the climate is very hot, koalas have shorter, paler fur to help keep them cool. It's so cute on the ground. In the peak of summer, koalas may come down to the ground to seek better shade. They can bound quickly across the ground to escape predators such as dingoes. They're carrying babies. When a baby koala grows too big for the pouch, it climbs over its mother's shoulder or head and clings to her back. It only returns to the pouch to feed. Here they are climbing trees. Long forelimbs and a muscular upper body help make the koala an effective climber in eucalyptus trees. Its feet have padded palms and soles for traction and claws for gripping. The big fact up here is that koalas sleep up to 20 hours per day. Very envious of the koalas. let's look at some other marsupials. We have, of course, the red kangaroo. The largest species of kangaroo is well adapted to cope with Australia's dry interior and ranges widely over the semi-deserts of the country. The Goodfellow's tree kangaroo, just up here. In the tropical rainforests of New Guinea, Goodfellow's tree kangaroos have evolved to climb through the branches. The marsupial in my area, the Virginia opossum. There are 120 species of opossums, mostly found in tropical South and Central America. Only the Virginia opossum ranges into temperate North America. We just call them possums here. The infamous Tasmanian devil. The carnivorous Tasmanian devil used to be widespread across all of Australia, but is now restricted to the southern island of Tasmania. And the bear couscous. Cute. Living in tropical lowland forests on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, the bear couscous is the most western-dwelling marsupial in Australasia and Oceania. Let's see what's next. We have armadillos. So cute, so cute. Closely related to sloths and anteaters, these armored mammals are found only in the Americas and nowhere else. Of the 21 existing armadillo species, 5 are shown here. They are the only mammals with bony armor, and they use their heightened sense of smell and long, sticky tongue to catch insects and other small animals. Let's read. There's only one box over here. Burrowing down. Cute. All armadillos are burrowers and use their strong clawed feet to dig tunnels with sleeping chambers. Most species spend much of the day in their burrows to avoid the heat of the sun or to hide from large predators such as pumas. Let's look at its little anatomy here. Bony armor. So cute. The armor of an armadillo is made up of bony plates covered with tough, horny skin. The plates are connected loosely to give the body the flexibility to move. And here he is all rolled up. Only 3 banded armadillos can roll into a ball and pull their limbs inside when threatened. Let's look at the map. The American range. Armadillos range from the southern parts of North America, which is home to only the 9-banded armadillo, to as far south as the grasslands of Argentina. Most species prefer moist habitats, where they can find plenty of termites, ants, and beetles to eat. Let's check that out, the 9-banded armadillo. This armadillo is common in the woodlands of the southern United States, but is also found in much of South America. It forages for fruit, worms, and eggs, as well as insects. Widespread range, look at him go. In Central America, the 9-banded armadillo lives high up in mountain forests. The giant armadillo. The Amazon basin is home to the biggest species of armadillo. The 130-pound giant armadillo lives in undisturbed tropical forests. It is hunted for its meat and threatened by deforestation. The hairy long-nosed armadillo. The armadillo's armor is covered with hair. It lives in the remote cloud forests of the Andes Mountains. We have the southern 3-banded armadillo, the only kind that roll into a ball. Isn't that interesting? You like really associate armadillos with rolling into balls, but only this one can. This species is found in drier habitats than most other armadillos. It lives in the thorny forest, scrub, and savanna of the Gran Chaco, a wide grassy area in central South America. And we have the pink fairy armadillo. The mole-like pink fairy armadillo is the smallest armadillo species. Its body ends with a vertical rump plate, which it uses to compact sand in burrows or even seal their entrance when danger threatens. And here's the armadillo fact over here. Here we go. It says, when startled, the 9-banded armadillo may jump more than 3 feet or 1 meter into the air. Very cute. Very sweet. I think I like pangolins more than armadillos, though. Way cuter. Moving on to the brown-throated sloth. Few animals are so tied to life in trees as the sloth. These plant eaters climb the branches with slow, deliberate movements and have long arms and claws that act as grappling hooks. There are 6 species of sloths living in tropical forests of the Americas, but the brown-throated sloth is the most common. Let's check out the boxes here. Trips to the toilet. The brown-throated sloth descends from the trees for just one reason, to poo. Once a week, it makes its way down to the forest floor, digs a small depression with its short tail, and defecates. It then covers the dung with leaf litter and climbs back up. If forced to do so, a sloth can crawl along the ground using the soles of its front and back feet, but will soon make for the nearest tree to return to the safety of the canopy. Living together. Algae that grow on the fur of the brown-throated sloth tinge its fur green, helping disguise it. Among the leaves, the algae are fertilized by the droppings of a species of moth that lives only in the sloth's fur. When the sloth descends to the ground to poo, the moths briefly leave the sloth's fur to lay their eggs, and their larvae feed on the dung. Isn't that incredible? My goodness. Let's see. Oh, there's a little note on sweet sloth here. Water absorbent. The dense fur of a sloth absorbs a lot of water when it rains. It is thought that a water-soaked coat helps protect it from extreme temperatures. Life in trees. These slow-moving tree dwellers live in the dense tropical rainforest canopies of Central and South America. They are able to eat the leaves of around 50 species of rainforest tree, but individuals tend to spend most of their time in a single tree that contains their favorite leaves. Let's check them out on the map. Afternoon activity. Sloths are most active in the mid-afternoon when the warmth of the sun helps power their slow bodies, and they often move to sunnier branches to sunbathe. Living upside down. In most mammals, hanging upside down puts pressure on the lungs, but sloths have adapted to this position, allowing them to move more easily through their habitat. They have fibers that attach their inner organs to their lower ribs, holding the organs in place so they don't crush the lungs. Ground crawler. On the rare occasions when the brown-throated sloth leaves the safe haven of the trees, it is able to crawl across the ground by pulling forward with one forearm and the opposite hind foot at the same time. Climbing trees. Sloths climb up and down trees by hugging the tree trunk. When moving horizontally, they hang upside down from the branches. And leafy diet. Sloths move slowly because the rainforest leaves of their diet don't contain many nutrients. The little energy they gain from their diet is needed for both getting around and digestion. And, oh, they're up here. Sloths sleep for up to 18 hours per day. Almost the koalas, but koalas went out. It can take as many as 50 days for a sloth to digest each meal. And the brown-throated sloth moves only around 130 feet in a day, 40 meters. Very slow. Next we have my favorite, the elephants. Let me see, where's Topple? Oh, you know what happened? The other day, there he is. There you are. Topple is named Topple because he falls over everywhere. I dropped him, or he toppled off the desk the other day, and I forgot to pick him back up. That's why he's named Topple, because wherever I put him, he winds up rolling off and being on the ground. Yes. Anyway, elephants. There we go. These giants are the world's heaviest land animal. They are well known for their long trunks and mighty tusks. 2 of the 3 existing species can be found in fragmented ranges around Africa, while their smaller cousins inhabit the tropical forests of Southeast Asia. You can see an African savanna elephant has large ears. Both species of African elephants have much bigger ears than those of Asian elephants. Blood circulating through them is cooled as the ears are waved back and forth. And here you can see on an Asian elephant their domed head. Asian elephants are smaller than their African cousins and have a two-domed rather than single-domed forehead. Their skin is also smoother and hairier than the rough skin of African elephants. Now, I've spent time hanging out with both kinds. They feel the same to me. They're very, very rough-skinned and very hairy. Anyway, I never noticed a difference. Let's see. Spreading seeds. Elephant herds can flatten foliage and tear down trees, but they also help scatter seeds. They eat ripe fruit from their favorite trees, and the seeds pass out in piles of fertilized dung. Tree browsers. Elephants are not picky eaters. They browse on leaves, seeds, fruit, flowers, grass, and tree bark. They'll even push over trees to get to the nutritious roots deep underground. Let's see. Habitats at risk. From the savannas, open woodlands, and shrublands of Africa to the grasslands and humid forests of Asia, elephants are a key part of their ecosystems. But human intervention is leading to the destruction of their natural habitats, putting them at risk of extinction. That would be a sad day if I lost my elephants. Anyway. The western ranges, look at these little dots where you can find them. African savanna elephants in western grasslands are widely scattered and isolated from other savanna elephants. Down here is the African forest elephant. These elephants are smaller than African savanna elephants. The largest groups occur where the forest is broken up with patches of savanna. And down here's the African savanna elephant. Most African savanna elephants live in dry woodland and shrubland, but in more arid parts of the continent they reach into deserts, as long as they have access to pools of water. Scattered all throughout here, sharing habitats. Look at the baby. In open woodlands and forest edges of parts of Central America, it is likely that African forest and African savanna elephants live together in similar habitats. Let's move over to Asia. Slide, Topple's in the way. There we go. Move out the way, Topple. Asian elephant. In mainland Asia, including India, elephants live in grassland or forest. Their natural ranges are shrinking, leaving them access to only 15% of their original range. And all the way down here, smaller sizes. Asian elephants living in forests in Borneo are shorter than those on the mainland. They are sometimes called Bornean pygmy elephants. That's so interesting. And our elephant fact up here is that, they're sad, 20,000 African elephants are killed each year for the illegal ivory trade, and the African elephant population has dropped by 90% over the last 100 years. Gotta protect them as much as possible, right? The Eurasian red squirrel. So cute. I remember when I was reading through this to practice, I was like, do I really have to read about squirrels? But I learned so much on this page. I'm excited to teach you about Eurasian red squirrels. Around 90 species of tree squirrel live in forests around the world. Among them is the Eurasian red squirrel, which dwells in cool northern forests. Unlike most rodents, bushy-tailed squirrels are active during the day, and they can often be spotted climbing trees. Out-competed, because these are the squirrels where I live, not these. In parts of Europe, such as the UK and Italy, the eastern gray squirrel introduced from North America has driven out the native red squirrel because it is stronger and spreads a virus that can be lethal to its red cousins. Did you see? I was like, what? Like, they carry a virus that kills the other species of squirrel, and they're stronger? Does that mean they like fight each other? Oh my gosh. Very brutal squirrels. Squirreling nuts away. In fall, the red squirrel stores pine cones, acorns, nuts, and seeds by burying them. It uses memory and a good sense of smell to find them, even under snow in winter, helping it stay active and keep feeding. Look at this. Did anyone read Squirrel Nutkin by Beatrix Potter when they were little? That's exactly Squirrel Nutkin with the little tufts. Read about it. Red squirrels have distinctive tufts of fur on their ears, which grow longer in winter months. Chisel-like teeth. Like other rodents, red squirrels have chisel-like front incisor teeth. They use these to bite into the woody shells of nuts to reach the nutritious seeds inside. Colorful fur. Most red squirrels have reddish-brown fur with a white underside, but some individuals are black, brown, gray, or even bluish. Blue squirrels. Anyway, bushy-tailed rodent. The Eurasian red squirrel has a wide range from Western Europe to Siberia. It feeds on tree seeds, especially pine nuts. Its long bushy tail can be used as a windbreak when the squirrel is feeding or as shelter from rain or hot sun. Let's head over to the UK. Competing squirrels. In Britain, the introduced eastern grey squirrel has displaced the red squirrel from most of its original range. It now survives only in places where grey squirrel numbers are controlled. I had no idea at all. Isn't that wild? Anyway, expansive forests. Red squirrels survive best in big expanses of forest. In places where forests are fragmented, their numbers drop. To be expected. Raising babies. In spring, female squirrels give birth to litters of up to 6 kits in tree holes or drays or nests made from twigs and leaves in the forest canopy. It's a lot of little babies. So cute though. Coniferous habitats appear in the trees. Pine seeds are a favorite of red squirrels, so they are especially abundant in pine forests. They hoard pine cones, seeds, and nuts as a winter store, particularly when food crops are low during the coldest months. Social dynamics. Red squirrels spend most of their time alone, but will huddle in groups and nests on cold nights or gather together when food is plentiful. Isn't that great? Oh, we love this squirrel. Up in the cold taiga habitat. Across Siberia, the red squirrel lives in the Great Taiga Forest, a vast expanse of pine and spruce trees on the edge of the cold Arctic region. And down here, they're staying active. Even in the coldest winters, red squirrels do not hibernate for long periods, as many small mammals do. Instead, they may stay snug in their nests in bitter winter. And our little facts up here is that a red squirrel can jump up to 6.5 feet or 2 meters between trees, 10 times its own body length. And in Britain, there are an estimated 140,000 red squirrels compared to 2.5 million gray squirrels. The gray squirrels are a menace. I did not realize this guy's the underdog. So cute. We've got a picture here. Oh my gosh, isn't he sweet? The little jerboa. Let's read his box over here. Desert rodent. The elusive long-eared jerboa inhabits the deserts and shrublands that stretch between southern Mongolia and northern China. Its elongated feet help it hop around the desert's sand and leap into the air to catch insects. The large surface area of the jerboa's ears help keep it cool by radiating heat from its body. Absolutely adorable. Let's see, next we have the star-nosed mole, which I still think is cute, even though it also looks like a weird alien creature. Star-nosed mole. With its hypersensitive nose and lightning-fast reflexes, this unique North American mole is a highly successful hunter of small invertebrates such as worms, insects, and spiders. It spends most of its life in its intricate system of burrows where it rests, builds nests for rearing young, stores food, and traps prey. Semi-aquatic mammals. Star-nosed moles are excellent swimmers, and many of their burrows open underwater, as you can see here. They use their highly sensitive nose to hunt for prey, such as aquatic insect larvae, snails, and shrimp in the waterbed. The rest of their burrow system is built above the water level to prevent flooding. Isn't that clever? That needs another box over here. Catching prey. Look at him eating this worm. An alien. It's so bizarre. With the help of its super sensitive nose, the star-nosed mole is perfectly adapted for finding tiny prey in the water-soaked ground. The fleshy tentacles around the mole's nose are packed with thousands of touch sensors, and it can take less than 1/5 of a second for the mole to detect and grab a morsel. Crazy, tiny little eyes too. So weird. Look at these nose tentacles. The nostrils of most star-nosed moles are surrounded by 22 little tentacles, each measuring up to 6/32 of an inch or 4 millimeters long. Let's see what we've got in the map. Wet habitats. The star-nosed mole lives in a range of habitats across eastern North America, including coniferous and deciduous forests, swamps, peat bogs, and along the banks of streams, lakes, and ponds. It prefers to build its burrows in waterlogged ground and relies on its sense of smell to detect prey underground. Here he is in a little molehill. Most of its life is spent in underground burrows, but occasionally the star-nosed mole heads to the surface through molehills in order to hunt prey at night. Here is the western barrier. The star-nosed mole relies on wet habitats to feed and survive, so the western border of its range ends where the drier central prairies of North America begin. Up high, the Appalachians. In the Appalachian Mountains, the star-nosed mole is found at altitudes of more than 5,250 feet, or 1,600 meters. Sociable moles. Star-nosed moles are probably more sociable than other species of moles and occasionally form loose colonies. They mate in the fall and live together until the babies are born in the spring. And over here in Canada, the northern mole. At the northernmost reaches of its range, the star-nosed mole lives in the coniferous forests of Canada's cold taiga. And our mole facts down here. There we go. There are 25,000 touch sensors on the tentacles of a star-nosed mole. Wild. And star-nosed moles eat 50% of their body weight in prey animals each day. They are hungry little guys, aren't they? Next we have, lemurs. Ta-da. There are more than 100 species of lemur, and all of them are found only on the island of Madagascar and nowhere else. The 5 ranges on this map represent a small sample of these isolated primates, and they all heavily depend on their forest habitats for survival. There we go. Spiny tree habitat. Thorny forests in the dry south of Madagascar, where spiny trees grow like giant cacti, are home to particular kinds of lemurs, such as Faroe's shifaka. I feel like there's a different way to say that, like shifu, I don't know. They have padded palms and soles on their hands and feet, allowing them to leap from trunk to trunk without injury. I think it's pronounced shifaka, I want to say, but I don't remember. Anyway, it's a long time ago since I covered Madagascar. Hunting for woodworm. The ii is a highly specialized feeder. It preys on invertebrates such as fleshy wood-boring grubs, which live inside tree branches. By tapping a branch and listening to the echo, it can detect if a grub is inside. It gnaws a hole in the wood and hooks the grub out with a specially adapted spindly finger. Isn't that? Eyes are really weird. Look at its wet nose. Lemurs have forward-facing eyes like related monkeys, but differ from monkeys in having a more pointed wet nose, good for sniffing scents, especially at night. And of course, the ring-tailed lemur has this beautiful ringed tail. It says tail flag. The long striped tail of a ring-tailed lemur is a visual signal. When traveling in their group, lemurs wave their tails like a flag to help keep members together. That's great. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Lemurs in danger. Each species of lemur is adapted to live in a different type of forest habitat, from the ring-tailed lemur in the dry forests of the south to the rainforest-dependent aye. Because many lemurs are restricted to tiny areas of habitat, they are increasingly vulnerable to threats such as deforestation. Here's aye. Look at there. I have all this part of the island, all down here along the coast. This nocturnal lemur can be found in the rainforests of eastern Madagascar. Despite being rare wherever it occurs, the aye could be one of the widest ranging lemur species. Over here we have the fat-tailed dwarf lemur. It's really cute. This dwarf lemur endures Madagascar's dry winter season by entering a hibernation-like state and surviving on the stores of fat in its tail. Though its range is small, it is one of the few lemur species with an abundant population. Here's the red-tailed sported lemur. Despite its name, this species is not very active. Restricted to a tiny area of dry deciduous forest between two rivers, individuals rarely travel more than 3/5 of a mile or 1 kilometer from their home range. When their habitats are deforested, they are unlikely to move to distant trees. Here's the Faroes. I'm pretty sure it's Shifaka. Faroes Shifaka. The powerful thighs of a Shifaka, good for leaping from tree to tree, are also used for bounding across the ground or along horizontal branches. They live in forest habitats, including tropical rainforest and spiny dry forest. And the ring-tailed lemur. The ring-tailed lemur is found only in Madagascar's dry southern forests and arid open areas. It spends 70% of its time on the ground, more than any other lemur species. And over here, oh my, it says 50 silky shifakas are left in the wild. They're one of the rarest primates in the world. Goodness. Oh, there's another fact. Weighing only 1 ounce, or 31 grams, Madame Bertha's mouse lemur is the smallest primate in the world. Very cool. Oh, another sweet one. The Japanese macaque. Here we go. Most of the more than 330 species of monkeys around the world live in the hot tropics, but the Japanese macaque tolerates the cold. In Japanese forests, it lives further north than any other non-human primate, sometimes ranging high up into cold mountains with heavy winter snowfall. Here's one down at the beach. It says beach monkeys. On the tiny Japanese island of Koshima, off the coast of Kyushu, Japanese macaques have learned skills that get passed down as youngsters copy adults. On beaches, the monkeys wash food, such as sweet potatoes, in the sea, and separate lighter grains of wheat from heavier sand by letting the grains float upward in the water. Very smart. And I feel like this is like the iconic image of the macaques in the hot springs. In the mountains of central Honshu, temperatures plunge below freezing in the winter. Here, Japanese macaques survive the cold by regularly bathing in thermal pools that are common in this volcanic region. You can see their naked, sweet little face. Pink skin shows through a very fine coating of fur on the face of an adult macaque, encircled by long, pale whiskers. And their very thick fur. The grayish fur grows especially long and thick on its back and sides, which helps trap body heat. The monkey molts its coat in late spring, so its fur is shorter in the summertime. See the little fact over here. It says island monkey. The Japanese macaque lives on the main Japanese islands of Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu. In the southern parts of its range, this monkey lives in warm, temperate evergreen forest, but it also inhabits temperate deciduous forest further south. Southern monkeys. In the thick, warm forests of southern Japan, macaques spend about half their time on the ground and half in the branches, where they feed on fruit and leaves as well as small animals and eggs. Group living. Across their range, Japanese macaques live in large social groups that can include more than 100 individuals. Groups are bigger, where the monkeys are deliberately fed by visiting humans. Doesn't that make sense? Motherly care. Female macaques give birth to a single baby after a pregnancy of about 5.5 months. The youngster stays in the care of its mother for up to a year. In the highlands. Although they were once more widespread, today Japanese macaques are mostly found in highland areas, having been hunted elsewhere because of their raids on crops. Snow monkey. Japanese macaques living in the snowy mountains of central Honshu, close to ski resorts, have become a popular tourist attraction. The deciduous forests. In the northern parts of their range, Japanese macaques range into mountainous areas with deciduous trees, trees that lose their leaves during the winter. At this time of year, macaques move to lower elevations where there is more food. And up here in the northernmost range, I always associated these with Hokkaido, but they don't live here at all. They live everywhere else but Hokkaido. No wild monkey in the world lives further north than the Japanese macaque. Like macaques in the central mountains, they keep warm by bathing in hot springs. And our macaque fact down here says the Japanese macaque can survive in temperatures as low as 5 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 15 degrees Celsius. So we've got the great apes. Let's see. The great apes are our closest animal relatives. All great ape species except the orangutans, which is on the next page, I believe, are found in the continent of Africa. Living in sociable groups in forests around the equator, chimpanzees and bonobos spend more time in trees, while gorillas stay mainly on the ground. Green living. Great apes use branches and foliage to build nests for sleeping at night, and sometimes for resting during the day. Chimpanzee and bonobo nests are built high in trees, but gorillas, who are heavier, often nest on the ground, like the one seen here. And a chimpanzee using tools. Gorillas and bonobos mainly eat plants and fruit, but chimpanzees are more carnivorous and even use tools to help catch prey or collect food. They use twigs to pull termites from holes, sharpened sticks to spear tiny primates, and stones or clubs to crack nuts. Young chimpanzees watch older ones to learn how it's done. Chimpanzees are so cool. Here's a big male eastern mountain gorilla using a threat display, it says. Adult male gorillas intimidate rivals by standing upright to look bigger, while rhythmically beating their chest with cupped hands and hooting or roaring loudly. Older males are known as silverbacks. You can see right here, silverbacks. And, that's the fact down here. Shrinking habitats. The chimpanzee has the widest range of any great ape and can survive in drier, more open woodlands than bonobos and gorillas. But all great ape species are threatened with extinction as the cutting down of rainforest continues to shrink their natural habitats, while poaching kills large numbers every year. Let's start with the chimps over here, finding food. In West Africa's rainforests, families of chimpanzees may travel long distances between fruiting trees. They build up a mental map of the best food sources in a wide area. Over here is the western gorilla. The western gorilla lives in lowland and hill forests. Males in these areas often develop a chestnut crown of hair on their head. You can see right here. Some populations make their home in swamplands that get flooded during the rainy season. And here's a bonobo, also called the pygmy chimpanzee. The bonobo is more slightly built than the chimpanzee. Its range is separated from that of its bigger cousins, who live on the other side of the Great Congo River. And here they are up here, chimpanzees. Like other great apes, the chimpanzee walks on its knuckles when on all fours. In the eastern part of its range, it roams central highland forests as high up as 9,155 feet, or 2,790 meters. And over here is the eastern gorilla. Eastern gorillas have thicker, blacker fur than western gorillas. Some live in lowland habitats, but eastern mountain gorillas live at heights of up to 12,470 feet, or 3,800 meters. They are the stockiest, furriest gorillas. And our facts are over here. Between 1995 and 2000, the Ebola virus killed 3/4 of the western gorilla population. Isn't it interesting that Ebola can affect that one too? Like that species too, to the point where it's lethal. Great apes live in large family groups. One eastern gorilla group had a record of 65 members. Alright, next is Mr. Orangutan, which I've said this before, but they are orangutans. But in my accent, here where I live, we say orangutan, which is not at all how it's spelled, but that's what we say, and I don't know why. I want to get to the bottom of that subject. Why do we say orangutan here in California? I do not know. Anyway, that's how I'm going to say it. 3 species of orangutan represent the great apes of tropical Asia. They depend on their wild rainforest habitats, so are now endangered as deforestation breaks up their home ranges into even smaller patches. I mean, it's like zebra versus zebra, because here we say zebra, but I don't know. Do any other Americans here say orangutan? Let me know in the comments. Under threat. Sumatra and Borneo have lost more than half of their rainforests in the past century, mainly as trees are cleared for plantations that produce crops such as palm oil. If current trends continue, all orangutans could be extinct within decades, so that would be so sad. They're such sweet little beings. Tree living. Orangutans spend more time in the branches than the great apes of Africa. In the trees, they eat mainly fruit and leaves, and only rarely descend to the ground. They are also less sociable than chimpanzees and gorillas, except when breeding and raising young. Island refuges. Orangutans once used to range across mainland Southeast Asia, but today they're only found in a few areas on the islands of Sumatra and Borneo in Indonesia. Oh, little anatomy over here. This baby orangutan. An orangutan spends more time with its mother than almost any other animal. A baby clings to its mother for its first year, but even after 7 years, youngsters may still seek their mother's protection. And over here is anatomy about the Bornean orangutan. Mature male orangutans look very different from smaller females. Males have fleshy cheek pads that stick out from the face, especially in the Bornean species. Let's start over in Sumatra. See the Sumatran orangutan. Look at his little beard. The Sumatran orangutan has a cinnamon-colored, long, fleecy coat. Logging and plantations have pushed them up to the north of the island, and babies are caught for the illegal pet trade. Tapanuli orangutan. Only recently discovered is the rugged Tapanuli region. In the rugged Tapanuli region, this rare ape was described as a separate species in 2017. Illegal hunting and tree felling have left very few adult individuals. Alright, let's go to Borneo. Fur color. Adult Bornean orangutans have orange-brown or maroon fur. Far from their kind. Look at the territory here. Shrinking habitats separated by barriers such as rivers or roads make it harder for adult orangutans to meet and breed. This means fewer babies are born and populations shrink. I think that's it. Okay, that was a quick one. Little facts over here is that 20% of wild orangutans live in protected areas, which is wonderful, but up to 3 100,000 Bornean orangutans are killed by humans every year. It's really sad. Alright, so if you remember, the next page is about bats. So if you are sensitive to bat pictures, I apologize. Just know that it's coming up. Again, I think they're incredible little creatures. The Indian flying fox, which is like the big daddy of bats too. They're huge. With more than 1,400 species, bats make up the second biggest order of mammals after the rodents, and live in most parts of the world except the poles and remote islands. The Indian flying fox is one of the world's largest bats and is found in tropical forests and swamps across the Indian subcontinent. Let's see the box here. Long-lived roosts. Here we go. After nighttime foraging, bats return to their roost at dawn to sleep. A colony can contain thousands of bats and may occupy the same location over generations. One roosting site in southern India was used for more than 75 years. Let's see, are there any notes about there? Yeah, there's handy wing. Cute, in my opinion. The wings of all bats are made of thin sheets of skin that extend out from the sides of the body and stretch between the long finger bones on their hands. I think they're so cool. Finding fruit. The Indian flying fox lives across India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. These large fruit-eating bats sleep through the day and wake up at dusk to seek out food. They are known to fly up to 90 miles in search of the best sources of food, especially fig trees that are heavy with fruit, which they locate with their highly sophisticated senses of sight and smell. Let's start down here in southern India. It says protected. In some areas of its range, this bat is treated as a pest for eating farmers' fruit, but in southern India it is considered sacred and is protected. Helping trees. As flying foxes cover long distances, they carry with them pollen from flowers and also spread seeds that catch in their fur. This helps many forest trees reproduce. Appear in the dry areas. In the drier eastern parts of their range, Indian flying foxes often live close to humans, where they can easily find sources of fruit and water on agricultural land. In the mountain range. Ranging into the foothills of the Himalayas, the Indian flying fox reaches altitudes of up to 6,560 feet or 2,000 meters. Here the bats have longer hair to survive the cooler highland climate. And forest colonies. In Bangladesh, the biggest colonies of Indian flying foxes live in the densest forest, where there is a richer supply of fruiting trees and less disturbance from humans. And our bat fact, the wingspans of Indian flying foxes can reach up to 6 feet or 2 meters. It's a big bat. Let's look at some other species of bat. So we're a little more, we have the ghost bat. Actually, let me do this so you can see. Northern Australia is home to one of the world's biggest predatory bats. The ghost bat hunts mice, lizards, birds, and other bats. Look at this face. My goodness. The greater horseshoe bat. Like many other bats, this species tracks insects in flight by homing in on the sound of echoed clicks. It's called echolocation. Here's the New Zealand lesser short-tailed bat. Having evolved on islands originally free of predators, this bat crawls along the ground more than any other species. Here's the Madagascar sucker-footed bat, which it's aptly named. Isn't that wild? This bat clings to the smooth surfaces in between folds of palm leaves using tiny suckers on its wrists and ankles. And the very infamous white-winged vampire bat. This tropical South American bat mainly targets birds, biting and lapping the blood of a sleeping victim. Alright, bats are gone. We're on to tigers. Rawr. The tiger is the world's biggest cat. But this formidable hunter is also hunted. Across Asia, tiger numbers falling. I can't talk. Falling as more become victims of poachers or lose their habitat to farming, logging, and ever greater numbers of humans needing space. Sorry, tigers. Sorry, little deer. This tiger's got you. Lone hunter. Adult tigers hunt alone, stalking their prey from the cover of vegetation. Blending in, a tiger can sneak close to its prey before ambushing it. Grabbing the prey with its broad forepaws and with its long claws extended, the tiger kills its victim by a bite to the neck. And vanishing tigers. A century ago, tigers lived from the Caspian Sea in the west to Java and Bali in the east. Today, no tigers survive in these places, and throughout the rest of their range, they exist in ever smaller patches. Poaching, often for the illegal trade in body parts which are used in traditional medicine, poses the biggest threat to remaining tigers. Here's the range it used to be. Caspian tigers over here, all down here in the islands. If you look at the map, this is what's left. It's pretty sad. It says, top cat. A tiger has massive forelimbs needed to strike with enough strength to bring down large prey. Its fiery colored coat helps conceal it in sun-dappled forests. Let's head over to India. See dry and wet forests. In southern India, Bengal tigers are found in the wet evergreen and dry deciduous forests in the hills that line the foothills of the Western Ghats. The mangrove habitat. Oh no, Bengal tigers. Let's read about them first. On India's central plateau below the Himalayas, Bengal tigers live in floodplains with marshes and oxbow lakes, as well as in the drier deciduous forests further south. Here, what is that? Like a weird tree? I think so. Okay, mangrove habitats. In far eastern India and Bangladesh, Bengal tigers cope with the changes of the coastal Sundarban, the world's biggest area of mangrove forest, a place that is flooded daily by the tides. Indo-Chinese tigers. Tigers from the tropical rainforests and dry forests of mainland Southeast Asia are smaller than those of India, but larger than the ones in Sumatra. Only a few hundred remain. And down here is the Sumatran tigers. The smallest tigers, nearly half the size of those from Siberia, live in the remaining rainforests of Sumatra and Indonesia. Their thinner coats are darker orange and have more stripes. I skipped this fact up here. Let's see what it says. Tiger territories. There are local populations of tigers in different regions of Asia, but they all belong to the same species. Adult tigers only come together to mate and otherwise live alone, patrolling territories to protect their own supply of prey. Since prey is scarcer for Siberian tigers, they need to roam territories 4 times bigger than those of the Bengal tigers on the Indian subcontinent. And we can't forget the Siberian tigers. Tigers of Russia's Siberian pine forests are among the largest of all cats, with paler coloring, fewer stripes, and a thick fur that keeps out the bitter cold in winter. And our facts up here, it says that tigers have disappeared from more than 90% of their original habitat range, mainly due to illegal poaching. There are more tigers kept in captivity than there are in the wild, and a tiger can eat more than 80 pounds of meat in one meal, 35 kilograms. And next we have the lion. There we go. Lions. This big cat is second in size only to the tiger. It is known as the king of the jungle, but in fact lives in the open grasslands and savannas of Africa, where it is superbly adapted to hunting. Unlike most cats, which are solitary hunters, lions work together as a group or pride to bring down prey. let's check out this box over here. It says historic range. So you can see where lions used to live. More than 2,000 years ago, lions were much more widespread, ranging northward into Europe and as far east as India. But as the human population has grown, lions' native habitats have been taken for human settlement, agriculture, and livestock. Look at their range now and all the purple spots. Anyway, look at these lions still up in the trees. Savanna trees. Although lions hunt in open grassland, a pride often gathers under shady trees during the heat of the day and climbs into branches to reach cool breezes. This vantage point also helps them spot prey animals traveling through the grasslands. Let's take a look at these lions over here. Down here at the female, we can see camouflage. By matching the color of the surrounding grassland of the African savanna, females can get close to prey, including targets as big as buffalo and giraffe, before giving chase. They have retractable claws. Like those of all cats, the long claws of a lion are pulled back when not in use. They are only extended when needed, such as for attacking prey. And their big hairy mane. The thicker and darker a male lion's mane is, the more attractive he is to females. Fragmented habitats. Lions once freely roamed the savannas, grasslands, scrub, and open woodlands of the African continent, but much of their natural habitat has been lost. They are now largely limited to game reserves and national parks. Let's see, there's some lions you can find over here. Looks like Senegal, between desert and forest. Lions are scarcer in Western Africa and survive only in patches of grassland between the Sahara Desert further north and thick coastal forests to the south. Forest clearings. Only in the Congo Basin do lions come close to thick rainforest. Here, small numbers survive in patches of grassland in forest clearings. And desert home. Lions can roam far into the driest deserts, getting much of the water they need from the prey they catch and even from eating wild melons. Oh, and up here in India, there's some Asiatic lions. The only wild lions left outside of Africa live in the dry scrublands and deciduous forests of India's Gir National Park. All right, and here's the fact. It says, the roar of an adult male lion is so loud that it can be heard clearly up to 5 miles away, or 8 kilometers away. Oh boy, a lynx. Watch out, bunny. There's a lynx. I think that bunny's doomed. Let's see what this box says about them. The stealthy lynx. Recognizable by the pointy tufts of hair on their ears, these Iberian lynxes are hunting European rabbit, their favorite prey. Once common across the Iberian Peninsula, these cats are now found in only 2 small areas in southern Spain. A drop in rabbit populations and the spread of human settlements have led to their decline. Kind of the same where I live, where we have mountain lions. And yeah, really kind of mesh well with humans, do they? The gray wolf. Let's see what it says. This wide-ranging canine is a highly social animal, living and hunting in family groups known as packs. It is found across vast areas of the globe in many different habitats, from the frozen Arctic to hot, dry deserts. Down here are the boxes. The Australian dingoes. All domesticated dogs which we keep as pets are descended from the grey wolf and belong to the same species. Dingoes originated from domesticated dogs that were brought to Australia from Asia by humans 4,000 years ago and then returned to the wild. Arctic wolves going awoo. Found in the Arctic tundras of Greenland and North America, the Arctic wolf is one of the biggest types of wolf. It survives freezing conditions by having long, thick fur and a thick layer of body fat, and stays white throughout the year as effective camouflage against the snow. Let's check out these pretty wolves over here. If I can fit the book there. There we go. It says padded feet. The feet of wolves and dogs have soles with protective pads and clawed toes. Unlike those of cats, their claws are blunt and not retractable. And their fluffy fur. In most wolves, the fur is mottled gray, but some wolves are born white or black. Wolves living in the coldest climates grow thicker fur. Let's see, local populations. In different parts of the wolf's huge range, local populations have habitat-specific adaptations and even look different, from the northern Arctic wolf to the southern dingo. But they all belong to the same species, gray wolf. Packs control and hunt in vast territories, and they communicate with each other by howling and scent marking. Let's check out the wolves up here in, looks like Canada up here, finding prey. Wolves from North America live in plains and forests where there is plenty of prey, including beavers, white-tailed deer, and moose. Packs work as a team when hunting big prey, but they hunt alone for smaller meals. Arctic tundra. Arctic wolves are specially adapted to survive in the far north regions of Greenland and North America, way up here. Over here we have the Eurasian wolf. Wolves that live in the forests of Scandinavia and Russia prey on anything from red deer and wild boar to hares and voles. They may also attack livestock and raid human garbage. The Himalayan habitat. Didn't know there were wolves up in the Himalayas. Let's see what it says. Found in a variety of alpine habitats, from high altitude mountains to temperate forests. Wolves living here hunt yaks and goats and shelter in alpine caves. How interesting is that? Down here we have the dingo. Dingoes are highly adaptable and can be found in every habitat in Australia, even deserts, as long as they have access to drinking water. And then up here we have the Siberian tundra. Living on the open frozen ground across northern Siberia, the large tundra wolf develops a thicker, darker coat in winter and hunts some of the largest prey, including caribou and muskox. Down here we have quite a bit of wolf facts. Let's see what it says. Some wolf territories extend up to 1,000 square miles, or 2,600 square kilometers. The largest known pack was made up of 36 wolves, and wolves can roam up to 12 miles in a single day, or 30 kilometers in a day. Making sure I'm not skipping any pages. See, I almost skipped the bear page, and that would be so sad because I love bears. Let's see, there are 8 different species of bear across the world. They include the largest land carnivores with the power to bring down the biggest prey. But not all bears are ferocious hunters. Some eat mainly insects, while others prefer plants and berries. I was about to try to find my favorite bear, but it's right here. I love these. They're so goofy, the sunny bears. Most bears are omnivorous, which means they eat both meat and plants. Some bears will eat anything available, while others are specialists that slurp insects or crunch bamboo. The sun bear uses its 10-inch long tongue to lick up ants from logs. They're just so goofy. They're the funniest bears. And over here are polar bears. Adapting to climate. Polar bears are perfectly adapted to life in their Arctic habitat. Their thick fur is made of hollow hairs that trap warmth close to the body. Even their paw pads are furry, with tiny bumps to help grip slippery ice. Their small ears and tail minimize heat loss. Loss of their unique habitat is putting these bears at risk, as climate change reduces the sea ice on which they depend. Here's a big old brown bear. Or grizzly bear. Is there a difference between a brown bear and a grizzly bear? Or are grizzly bears brown bears? I don't know. Surely there's, I don't know, maybe we'll find out on this page, I don't know. The fur of brown bears varies in color across their range. Some regional populations in North America have silver-tipped or grizzly hair. Maybe grizzly bears are brown bears. I don't know. Let's see. This is range of habitats. Bears are found across Europe, Asia, North America, and in parts of South America. The largest bear species, polar and brown bears, live in the cold north. Further south, smaller bears with smaller ranges live in the tropics. Let's check it out. Up here is brown bear, brown bear. Do you see? Spanning the northern hemisphere, brown bears have the widest range of any bear species. On the Pacific coast of North America, they fish for salmon. Let me find the key. Yeah, so the brown bears is the purple outline, I guess, so all up in here. And then over here in the blue, I'm guessing, yep, the blue is the American black bear. American black bear. The most populous bear species is an excellent opportunist, eating seasonal nuts and berries, scavenging carrion, and even raiding human garbage or stores of food. Down here is the Andean bear. Did you know there were bears in the Andes? Because I didn't. This shy bear is mainly a plant eater. It prefers the remote rainforests of the Andes Mountains, though it will descend in search of food and has been found in many different habitats, including thorny dry forests and even coastal deserts. Up here, the yellow must be the polar bear. This bear eats meat and little else. It specializes in hunting for Arctic seals and regularly swims more than 30 miles in search of food. Wow. Roar. Oh, I see. There's more brown bears all over here. Oh, wow. Over here is the sloth bear, which is in the dark green patches here. In tropical Asia, the sloth bear has a fondness for ants, termites, and fruit. It lives in tropical lowland forests and occasionally can be found in tall grasslands. Over here in, let's say the sun bear is turquoise, so over here is my favorite bear, the sunny bear. The smallest bear with the shortest coat lives in tropical forests, where it climbs trees for fruit, insects, and honey. They're just so goofy. The giant pandas, they live in the red section, so just looks like right here. Living in bamboo forests in the mountains of central China, this bear lives almost entirely on bamboo. Loss of their habitat means they are restricted to very small areas. It's the Asiatic black bear. Let's see, their color is like blue. I don't see any blue on this map. Oh, that's American black bear. Asiatic is like the orangey. Okay, so the Asiatic bear lives all throughout here. Gotcha. The Asiatic black bear lives in oak and beech forests, where there are plenty of nuts and berries. It also feeds on fruit and occasionally hunts small mammals. Roar. Alright, the facts down here says polar bears are the biggest species and can weigh up to 1,760 pounds, 800 kilograms. And there are fewer than 2,000 giant pandas left in the wild, which honestly is a bigger number than I would have thought. It always seems like there's so much fewer than that. Next is the elusive honey badger. 6 species of badgers live across North America, Africa, and Eurasia, and all are stocky, strong-bodied animals. The honey badger has a particular reputation for toughness. With a strong bite, thick skin, and sharp claws, it is a fierce hunter that braves stinging bees to satisfy its taste for honey, hence its name. Here he goes, digging for prey. As well as excavating burrows, the strong front paws of their long claws can rip open beehives and dig out animal prey such as rodents from underground. Food is found by smell and sound. Over here, the fearless badgers. They are little fighters, aren't they? Look at them going up against the hyenas here, the wild dogs. Sometimes honey badgers see off threats from predators much larger than themselves, such as this pack of wild dogs. Although they will rarely pick a fight, if attacked, they rush at the assailants, hissing, raising their hackles, and releasing a stench from their anal glands. Oh, they'll fart on you. If you try to fight them, they'll fart on you. Thick-skinned badger. The honey badger's thick skin is loose, especially around the neck, enabling it to twist around to bite when grabbed by an attacker. A thick skin also protects it from snake bites and bee stings. Opportunistic living. Few animals can survive such a wide range of habitats as the honey badger. Across Africa, India, and the Arabian Peninsula, it lives in forests, savanna, marshes, and deserts. Wherever this nocturnal animal can dig a burrow, it is not found in the very driest parts of the Sahara. Yeah, I thought these guys only lived in Africa, but look, they have a huge range over here in Asia. That's so interesting. Here's a sweet little badger baby. Honey badger mothers bring up their babies alone, moving them from den to den in their mouth every few days. They're finding honey. In Central Africa, honey badgers roam in lush tropical rainforests, raiding wild beehives to steal the honey, as well as to eat the bee larvae. Desert scavengers. Along the fringes of the Sahara Desert, honey badgers are expert at digging out spiny-tailed lizards and gerbils from burrows, or grubbing for roots and insects. But they also scavenge on carrion, which is the flesh of dead animals. Helpful hunters. In their grasslands of East Africa, other predators such as goshawks and jackals have learned to follow digging honey badgers and catch small animals that escape their notice. My goodness. Arabian badgers. Honey badgers survive the dry deserts of the Arabian Peninsula by catching venomous prey, including scorpions and snakes. They shelter under rocks during the hottest part of the day. Caspian badgers. On the dry, grassy plains of Southwest Asia, the honey badger reaches the northernmost limits of its range around the Caspian Sea. And Indian badgers. The honey badger is widespread across the Indian subcontinent, but is most common in forests and grasslands, where it may share its territory with tigers and sloth bears. That's so interesting. The honey badgers can stun bees with a squirt of repellent spray from its glands around their bottom. These guys have some powerful farts. And honey badgers are resistant to snake venom. Right. Next we have zebras, which is another animal that in my accent we say zebra. Literally everywhere else in the world they say zebra. No idea why we in America say zebra, but I mean, we don't say the letter Z, we say the letter Z, so I think it comes from that, which I kind of wonder why we changed the pronunciation of a whole letter. I don't know, but that goes a lot deeper in linguistics than I want to go tonight. Zebras are the most distinctive members of the horse family. 3 species live on the grassy savannas in the eastern and southern parts of Africa, each with their own species-specific pattern of stripes. Over here we can see a quagga, a subspecies of the plains zebra with fewer stripes called the quagga, was once common in southern Africa, but was hunted to extinction by about 1883. Today, scientists are breeding zebra with quagga-like characteristics to try to bring the animal back. I was going to say, I think this is one of the extinct animals that they're trying to, come back with genetic engineering and stuff. Oh, look at this, herding. Look at all these zebras. Like many other large mammals of open grassland, zebras live in groups. They may even gather with other grazers such as wildebeest, making it more likely that predators will be spotted. Plains zebras have especially complex societies. Males guard groups of females and even form all-male bachelor groups. These zebras are so pretty. Look at the stripes on their face. That's really beautiful markings on these zebras. These are plain zebras. Talks about their stripes. The exact reason why zebras are striped is not known for sure. The stripes may serve as camouflage, as a social signal, or even as a deterrent to biting insects. Black and white. Underneath their fur, zebras actually have dark skin. Their stripes develop as white over black rather than vice versa. So now we know the answer. Are they white with black stripes or black with white stripes? They are black with white stripes. That mystery is solved. Let's read about their territory. African grazers. Zebras graze on the grasses of a variety of habitats, from the plains zebra in open grasslands and savannas, to the Grevy's zebra in semi-arid scrub, and the mountain zebra on mountainous slopes and plateaus. During the dry season, the Grevy's and mountain zebras spread out further in their range to find better sources of food and water. But the plains zebra follows seasonal rains to wherever the grass is greener in large migrations. Oh, I skipped a thing. I just noticed. Long mane. Gotta talk about their hair. Zebras have some of the longest manes of any members of the horse family, with the stripes extending right to the black edge, which forms a crest-like fringe. So interesting. Alright, now let's look at the map. Over here we can see the mountain zebra. Which I really like this map because you can see all the different kinds of stripes that zebras have. It's so wild that they're all so different. Moving between mountains and salt flats during the dry and rainy seasons, mountain zebras are more solitary than plains zebras. Males establish large territories and only interact with females during the breeding season. Not interesting. Down here in South Africa, we can see the plateau grasslands. Mountain zebras in Africa's southern cape live on high plateaus. Their ranges are small and sparse due to naturally fragmented habitats as well as hunting. Up here in the central area of southern Africa, we have the plains zebra. This species occurs in the open treeless grasslands and woodland savannas of eastern and southern Africa. They are distinguishable by the thick stripes that extend further under the belly than any other species. Social zebras, they're friends. Plains zebras are more social than other zebra species, forming large herds. They inhabit wetter grasslands where they have daily access to drinking water. And up here is the Grevy's zebra. The largest zebra species with the smallest range, the Grevy's zebra has narrow stripes that are slightly broader on the neck. You can really tell looking at these zebra stripes versus these zebra stripes. They're very different, aren't they? It's really neat that these guys have like tons of stripes and these just have like small, 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 big, 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 big. It's interesting. These guys have small, 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 big, big, big. Let's see the facts over here. The pattern of stripes on every individual zebra is as unique as a human fingerprint. So cool. And a group of zebras is sometimes called a dazzle. Awesome. Alright, next we have rhinos. Let's read about the rhinos. In prehistoric times, rhinoceroses ranged across large areas of the globe. Today, 5 species survive on savannas in Africa and in forests and grasslands in Asia. But poaching and habitat destruction have edged these unique creatures to the brink of extinction. Let's look at this box first. Guarded treasure. This poor thing. Rhinos are poached for their horns, which some people wrongly believe have medicinal qualities. Armed guards help protect some rhinos, including this white rhino in Kenya. There to save the rhino. Let's see this box over here. Mud bath. Cute. All rhinoceroses, including this female black rhino and her calf, like to wallow in mud pools. It helps cool the body and protect it from biting insects. Here's a big old rhino charging. It's a grasping lip. The finger-like upper lip of the black rhino helps grasp foliage. White rhinos have a flat, wide upper lip for grazing grass. And of course, they're very thick-skinned. The black rhino has coarse skin in patches up to 1.5 inches thick. This protects it from being scratched by thorny shrubs as it eats. Remaining rhinos. No group of large mammals is as endangered as rhinos. The two African species now only exist in nature reserves, and their true locations are kept secret to help protect them from highly organized poaching. The range of the greater one-horned rhino on this map shows the patches of habitat where this species still roam free. The dots for the Sumatran and Javan rhinos show where their remaining populations are. Isn't that sad that, they can't even map it? It's so sparse. Here we can see a white rhinoceros. Most remaining white rhinos are found in the grasslands of southern Africa. A few have been reintroduced to eastern parts of the continent. Here it talks about black and white rhinos. Despite their names, both kinds of African rhinoceroses are in fact grayish brown. These symbols are black or white to distinguish the two species on the map. Up here is a big old black rhinoceros. Just 4 countries, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and South Africa, protect more than 95% of all surviving black rhinoceroses. Protection means that numbers are rising in these nations. That's great. Let's head over to Asia. And here we can see the greater one-horned rhinoceroses range over here. The only species of rhino in India often lives in areas now hemmed in by villages and agricultural land. It grazes grasses and shrubs. I can't even read the word shrub. Shrubs, but also stays close to water where it feeds on aquatic plants. Let's see, the Sumatran, where's the key? There it is. Sumatran rhinos are the yellow dots. Sumatran rhinoceroses. The smallest species of rhinoceros only survives in the tropical forests of Sumatra, Indonesia. Populations used to live in the Malay Peninsula and Borneo too before hunting and deforestation killed them off. And here's where the Javan rhinoceros lives. The world's rarest rhinoceros lives in the forests of Ujung Kulon National Park in western Java. What was left of an Asian mainland population of this species in Vietnam was declared extinct in 2010. That's horrible. Poor rhinos. Let's see the facts. The estimated number left of adult breeding Javan rhinos is only 18. Oh my, poor rhinos. Rhinos are hunted for their horns, which are worth more than their weight in gold. These poor guys. Definitely an animal we need to protect as much as possible. And here's a big old hippo. Let's read about hippos. No big land animal spends as much time in water as the hippopotamus. There are 2 species and both live in Africa. During the day, they wallow to protect their skin from the sun, with only eyes and nostrils breaking the surface. Look at this champion swimmer down here. Underwater moves. Despite its bulky body, the common hippo can move quickly through shallow water. Since its enormous head makes up 60% of the hippo's total weight, it relies on its trotting front legs to avoid toppling forward. It's cute. Its dense bones keep the hippo weighted to the bottom, so it cannot swim freely in deeper water. Interesting. It can only tiptoe across the bottom here. A mini hippo. So cute. The forest-dwelling pygmy hippopotamus is about half as tall as its bigger cousin. Shaded by overhanging trees, it probably spends more time out of water during the day than the common hippo, but its habitats are little known. Let's check out this big ol' hippo. Gigantic jaws. A common hippopotamus has the biggest jaws of any land animal. Enormous tusk-like teeth are biggest in males and are used as weapons in fights over females. You can see their greasy skin. The skin oozes an oily liquid that acts as a sunscreen and antibiotic. As it dries, it can make the hippo look pinkish. Let's see what this is. Hippo havens. The common hippopotamus, the larger of the two species, lives in patches of woodland and grassland around rivers across sub-Saharan Africa. The pygmy hippopotamus only survives in a few fragments of rainforest in West Africa. Let's check that out. So the pygmy ones only live here, it looks like. Let's read about the jungle hippo. The pygmy hippopotamus is found along densely forested streams, where it feeds on water plants and fruits that have fallen onto the forest floor. Loss of habitat threatens the couple of thousand that are left in the wild. Here's a river hippo. In West Africa, the common hippopotamus lives along the banks of big rivers that wind through thick forest. Sometimes they even wander down to the sea. Let's see, over here we have the fertile lakes. Dung produced by hundreds of pooping hippos helps enrich lakes, fertilizing the water with nutrients that can support food chains with big shoals of fishes. Oh, thank you, hippos. Over here are some coastal hippos. The coast of the Namib Desert is the only place where hippos can be seen cooling off in shallow sea water. And nocturnal grazer, it says. The common hippo gets most of its food on land. It grazes on grass at night, using the fleshy lips to pluck the blades. Let's see the hippo facts. A hippo can open its enormous mouth up to an angle of 180 degrees, wider than any other large mammal. I didn't know it was that big. An adult male common hippo can weigh up to 4,400 pounds or 2,000 kilograms. Next, we're looking at the moose. A big ol' moose. The world's biggest species of deer also has one of the widest ranges. The moose is an animal of marshy forests and is found across temperate regions of the northern hemisphere, where there is plenty of vegetation to browse and cover for females to raise their calves. Let's look at this. Speaking of the calves, motherly care. Look at these little babies. A female moose gives birth to 1 or 2 calves and feeds them with milk for up to 5 months. The thick cover of the northern forests helps protect them from predatory gray wolves and brown bears. And we can see their giant antlers. Like almost all other deer, only male moose grow antlers. These enormous bony weapons, each more than 3 feet long, grow new each year as males defend their mates and territories before being shed at the end of each breeding season. Let's take a closer look at their antlers. A male's antlers start growing in April and are fully formed by summer. Antlers are covered in a nourishing layer of skin called velvet that gets rubbed off before the antlers shed in December. Marshes and wetlands. Moose favor the damp boreal forests that stretch across North America, Europe, and northern Asia, where the snow does not get too deep in winter and temperatures remain cool in summer. They stick to wetland areas where their favorite food plants, birch, alder, and willow trees, grow in abundance. Let's check it out. Alaskan giants. The biggest moose occur in Alaska and Siberia. Calves born in Alaska can weigh nearly twice as much as those born in Europe. Migration, how far they can exist up here in the north. In the parts of their range with the coldest winters in North America and Siberia, moose migrate south during the bitter months in search of better food. North American moose may travel up to 125 miles. Let's head over to Europe. Shrinking range, it says. In prehistory, moose were found as far west as the British Isles and the Pyrenees. Hunting restricted them to Scandinavia and Eastern Europe, but their numbers here have increased in the last 50 years. Mountain forests. In Asia, moose are widespread throughout the forests of Siberia. They are found at their highest altitude in Central Asia, including up to 5,580 feet above sea level in the Altai Mountains. bellowing bull. During the breeding season, most male moose defend a female by bellowing loudly and thrashing the vegetation aggressively with their antlers to warn other males to stay away. And the northern tundra, look at them go. In the northernmost parts of their range, in the open Arctic tundra, food is scarcer and more scattered. Here, dominant males compete to mate with groups of females called harems. And let's find the moose fact. It's up here. There we go. 1,700 pounds is the heaviest recorded weight of an adult male moose. That's 770 kilograms. And moose antlers are made of bone. They are the fastest growing bones in the animal kingdom. Wow, wow, wow. I didn't know that. I've never thought about what antlers are made out of. Next is the humpback whale. We're going to the ocean. Along with dolphins and porpoises, whales are cetaceans, aquatic mammals that have evolved to swim in the oceans. Together with 14 other species, the humpback whale is a filter feeder. It gulps huge mouthfuls of water and strains out zooplankton, or tiny drifting animals, and small swimming fishes. Let's see, I see one box about raising their young. There we go. After a pregnancy lasting nearly a year, a humpback whale gives birth to a single calf that already weighs almost a ton. The baby grows quickly on more than 90 pounds of milk every day and stays with its mother for up to a year. Let's check out this big ol' whale. You can see their baleen plates, their mouths here. Instead of teeth, strips of horny material called baleen hang down from the roof of a whale's mouth. As the whale closes its mouth, water is forced out through the baleen. The frayed, hairy edges of the baleen trap small animals. And here it is, crossing oceans. More plankton live in colder waters around the poles, so humpback whales spend their summers feeding in the far north or south. As winter sets in, they migrate toward the warmer waters of the tropics, where they breed and give birth to their calves. Let's check it out. Farthest travelers. Like, they can go all the way down here to the Antarctic and all the way up here to South America. Whales migrating up the west coast of South America travel a record-breaking distance for this species, crossing up to 5,160 miles between Central America and Antarctica. Up here are the Pacific routes. You can see them going from Hawaii up to Alaska, and then from Central America up to where I am in California. Whales that feed in the waters around Alaska follow two migration routes, either across the Pacific to breed in Hawaii or along the U.S. coast to California. There's been a couple of instances where humpback whales get trapped in the San Francisco Bay and they swim too far in and can't find their way out because, their migrations don't take them into the bay, so they get confused. And thankfully, every time people have got the whales out, it's taken a while, but thankfully, the last time it happened, it was like 10, 15 years ago. It was a mom and a baby that got stuck, and the baby almost died, but they made it out, and it was fine. Let's go down here to the Antarctic waters. Let's see how far these ones migrate. And these ones can go up this way, too. Let's go up to here. The cold southern ocean around Antarctica teems with krill, a shrimp-like crustacean that drifts in enormous swarms. Krill supplies almost all the food of whales feeding here. They're heading north up to here. Whales in the Southern Ocean begin their northward migration around May to breeding grounds in the tropics, such as around the coast of eastern Africa and Madagascar. Up here in the northern Indian Ocean, all up here. Let's see, why is this one red? Where's the key? Down here. Oh, the year-round population. I'm sure this is going to tell us about that. Whales only migrate within one hemisphere. In the northern Indian Ocean, which is north of the equator, whales can't migrate further north, so they live here year-round. That's a good point. They can't go north. These ones can down here. go all the way up here. The icy feeding grounds. In the cold waters around the Arctic, humpback whales feed on a mixture of small animals, including fishes such as herring and pollock, and shrimp-like crustaceans such as krill. Go down here too to the Caribbean. And where else? Over here, near Australia. Can go up here to this coast, and up here to this coast. Polar front. In the Southern Ocean, many whales gather to feed where cold polar waters meet warmer waters from the north. This zone encircling Antarctica, called the polar front, is especially rich in zooplankton. And up here in the Northwest Pacific, go this way down to this region, then back up to this region to eat. In the cold Pacific waters around Russia, whales feed mainly on fishes in shallower waters near the coast, and on zooplankton in deeper water offshore. Let's check out some humpback whale facts. A humpback whale can swallow up to 4 tons of prey each day, and whale songs can be heard up to 20 miles away. Alright, there's one more page to look at, and it's of the amazing narwhals. Aren't they so weird? They are also just weird, goofy guys. Unicorns of the sea. Related to whales and dolphins, the narwhal spends much of its time under the thick winter ice of the Arctic seas, only surfacing between ice sheets to breathe. Males grow a distinctive tusk up to 10 feet long that is actually a long, sensitive tooth. The tusk is likely used to show dominance or during mating rituals. And that is the end of our whole book. This is the last page, I promise you, just the definitions, the glossary over here. Let's flip back just to make sure, because you know I almost skipped the bears. Make sure I didn't skip anybody else. Humpback whales, the mooses, hippos, rhinos, zebras, the honey badger, and the bears, and the gray wolf. There's the lynxes again, lions. I think I got everybody. Tigers, Indian flying foxes. Sorry, the bats are back. I apologize. Orangutans, great apes, the macaques, the lemurs. We went through all these different primates, didn't we? Star-nosed moles, another goofy-looking guy, the very sweet Jerboa, the insanely interesting Eurasian red squirrel, the little elephants, the sloths, the armadillos, koalas, and the monotremes. So yeah, we got them all. Let's look at this goofy guy again. He's so funny. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know some of you guys really enjoyed this book. I'm kind of sad it's over, but this is a library book. I gotta return it. Otherwise, we could probably explore it further, but it's gotta go back to the library so other people can enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a very good night.